Okay, hello and welcome to video number 8 in the Honors Pre-Calculus Summer Assignment Tutorial Series. This video is going to deal with rational expressions and simplifying rational expressions and also solving rational equations. So let's get right to it with simplifying this expression. Now you notice it's one fraction times another fraction, and the last thing in the world we want to do right now is actually multiply. I mean, it would make the problem very complex and very difficult to get through if we actually did the multiplication first. Instead, what we want to do is try to simplify first. So, simplify first. Rather than even, but how are we going to simplify? Better yet, let's factor. Then simplify. Alright, so factors, then simplify. Alright, now factoring means take each part. We're going to take this numerator here and factor it first. Now factoring is not part of the intent to teach this lesson. So if you need help factoring, go back to video number 1 for help with factoring. But this first one factors as 3x plus 7 and x plus 10. And that's going to be the numerator. That's going to be this piece up top. And then factoring the denominator, similarly, you're going to be able to factor that into 3x plus 7 and 3x plus 2. Go ahead and use your factoring know-how to factor those. Okay? The next factor over here, this fraction, doesn't look like the numerator can be factored at all, but I'll just put parentheses around that for clarity. And then in the denominator, it does look like we can factor a 2. Leaving an x minus 4. So now that the numerators and denominators are fully factored, now we look for opportunities to find ones. And what I mean by that is, here's a 1. Those two factors divided by each other are 1, so they simplify out. Here's another one, a matching factor in the top and the bottom. And that's going to leave us with just one factor in the numerator. Well, this one actually gets replaced by a 1. They all get replaced by 1s. So x plus 10 times 1, no change there, and 2 times x minus 4 times 1 times 1, or just 2 times x minus 4. So in reality, we really didn't have to do any multiplication at all. Okay, factor, then simplify, then multiply. All right, so that's an example there. That was number 49 from your summer packet. All right, then next, question number 59 from your packet. We're going to use that to help you solving rational equations. Notice this is an equation as opposed to the last one, which was just an expression. But this equation has fractions all over the place, and the one thing we don't like about equations is when they have fractions. So we're going to try to eliminate the fractions, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to find the least common denominator, the LCD. And in order to do that, again, we're going to factor first to look for the factors that make up the denominators. Okay, so the first one, 3 over n. There's nothing we can do with that. The second one, 3 over n squared minus 5n. We can factor a 5. We can factor an n out of this, leaving an n minus 5. And same thing over here. We can factor an n out of this denominator, leaving n minus 5. So the two factors that make up these denominators here and here are n and n minus 5. Notice that this one has an n, and so the least common denominator is going to be n times n minus 5. Notice if I multiplied this one by n minus 5, I would have the same denominator. All right, so our strategy is going to be multiply each term by the least common denominator. Multiply each term, both sides, by the LCD. And our LCD is right there. Okay? So, first term, 3n, 3 divided by n. We're going to multiply times n times n minus 5, the least common denominator. You need some room to do this, so we're going to spread this out a little bit. My next term, 3 over n times n minus 5. Multiply that term times the least common denominator. Equal sign right here. And then we have a 1 over n times n minus 5. And in this one, multiply each term times the least common denominator. All right. Now we're going to simplify. Everywhere we see a matching factor in the numerator and denominator, we can call that a 1. I see an n divided by n. That's a 1. I see an n, another n minus 5, n minus 5. n minus 5, n minus 5. All of these simplifications leave us with 3, it's our 3 here, times n minus 5, plus, there's our plus sign, there's a 3, equals 1. A lonely old 1. All right, and then we have an equation that has no fractions, and we can solve it normally. Let's do our distribution. 3n minus 15 plus 3 equals 1. 3n minus 12 equals 1. 3n equals, let's add 12 to both sides, and then divide both sides by 3. 13 thirds. All right, one last step. Check your answer by substituting it back into the original equation, and for this one you can use a calculator to make your task easier. But do remember to check your answers, because not all equations have solutions, and you will sometimes have extraneous solutions. All right, that's it for now. So have fun with questions 50 through 60, and good luck.